Moreau says, I wanted, it was the only thing I wanted, to find the extreme limits of plasticity in a living shape. All of biology resides in this sentence, because the underlying chemistry and structure of life is all the same. What remains to be understood, as the science of the 19th century discovered, is its remarkable inherent dynamism. Saying natural selection isn't enough. The childish version of that idea says mutations are random and environment shape the outcomes, giving the false impression that anything can or could evolve because it might mutate in from the nth dimension, and the guiding hand of the environment says yay or nay. The thinking version asks instead, in the real world, what were the historical limits and what are the hard limits beyond those? Are there different categories for different levels, like genes and chemicals, versus those for potential body shape or functions, versus those for environments and selective pressures? What shapes or functions cannot evolve among living things as we know them? And why not? Contingent historical events or hardline chemical and biomechanical constraints? Moreau's project is better than it looks. It directly examines the limits of individual shape and function across the boundaries between species. Darwin suggested that these boundaries were strictly contingent details of different selective histories, so that there really isn't anything such as a species boundary as far as causes are concerned, only effects. Was he right? He also suggested that we humans are one species among many without special properties or historical processes. Would inquiry into species boundaries reveal the same results between us and others as among them? Let's look at the explicit question, whether humanity can be coaxed to arise from non-human animals, and the first step is to acknowledge that this is a biologically incoherent statement, and to rephrase it sensibly, whether a functioning member of Homo sapiens can be developed from the zygote of another species. The discussion of assessing our measured variables resides within a bigger discussion of experimental design. What is being compared to what, and what is being asked? The scientific question makes most sense if it studies the constraints in both directions, or in plain language, fair is fair. That means we need to see if species X can become a Homo sapiens, and also if Homo sapiens can become a species X. This design has a nice elegance too, as the positive control for species X is the negative control for Homo sapiens, and vice versa.